I'm excited today because today I've decided that I'm going to talk to my audience just like I talked to my best friend. Yesterday, my best friend was here and I was talking about this subject. And by the time I was done, her hands were like up in the air. Like she was like, Twyla, you are hot about this message, which is true. This message is the one that gets me the most passionate, the most excited, because it's so important to everybody. And it's about a topic that we don't like to address much. It's a hot button topic. And the topic is the name of God. God, that word, has been hijacked away from everybody who wants to use it besides the church. And I watch all kinds of shows on different programs. I watch scientists. I watch people who talk about metaphysics and who talk about universal consciousness. Like we've used all of these words to stay away from the word God, because if we use it, it sparks all of this controversy. So, because why? Because the church has hijacked God. And they're telling people that if you don't believe what we believe about God, then you can't use his name. You're not in conjunction with him and he's not listening to you and you're not a part of the group or whatever it is, which is an absolute lie. Okay. Even from their own standpoint, from the because I'm a church member. Okay. From our own standpoint, we say that Jesus died for everybody, right? Without any exceptions. That is our gospel message. Jesus died for everybody to be reunited with God. And that comes without stipulation. That comes without anything. That's all. The Bible doesn't miss words like that. Like if God meant only some, then he would have said only some. But when he used the word all, he meant all. And see, we've all been bamboozled because we're thinking, or we've been taught, or it's our tradition that only certain people can have a connection with God. And it's not true. How do I know that? Well, look, the people who are in metaphysics, those people who are out there, saying that they've tapped into this universal power, they're healing people. If you've watched one of their shows, you have seen literal tumors drop out of people who used to be blind being able to see again, people who came in with a diagnosis of cancer and walked out with a clean bill of health. That is healing. That is the power that every human being has access to when we set our intent. When you talk about the law of attraction, or you concentrate your thoughts and you set your intention and then you allow for it to attract, that is faith. Okay? You can call it whatever you want, law of attraction, blah, 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 but that is faith. You believe that something belongs to you and you receive that something to you. What page in the Bible does it say that is anything other than the belief that you believe it and you receive it? I'm not trying to say that you have it wrong and they have it right, or they have it wrong or you have it right. What I'm trying to say is that we have to take back the word God from the church and allow everybody to use it without controversy. I'm so tired of watching people find all these creative words because they don't want to use God, the universe, the collective unconscious, all of this stuff. And by the way, to my church folk, I just want to say, I can go to Walmart, I can go to Costco, I can go to all of these places, Smart and Final, some of the biggest department stores on the planet, and not once have I ever run into another Christian. Now, our life purpose, right, is supposed to be preaching the gospel. That's supposed to be the reason why we came to earth, right? Besides whatever work purpose that we have. It's like, isn't that the Great Commission, right? Preach the gospel to all the earths and then the end will come. Well, there's a mega church on every corner of my city. And in those mega churches, there's campuses, North Campus, South Campus, East, West, everywhere. There's overflow. You can't even find parking sometimes. Sometimes they have to turn people away, literally, have them sitting outside in the grass because there's not enough room in the church. So with all these people, all these human beings, okay, that profess to be Christians, whose life purpose is the Great Commission, go out and preach. They're supposed to get all kinds of awards and accolades for bringing people and preaching the gospel. And I've never run into another Christian ever. Like maybe once in a while, somebody will hand me a pamphlet or the JWs will come to the door or something like that, you know, and then we treat them like crap. Like, don't we treat them like crap? Oh my goodness. The thing is, where is the gospel being preached? How are you handling that? Now, people will say, well, I tell my family. Well, I mean, come on. How easy is it to tell your family? That's like a no-brainer. If they don't know, then nobody knows. Well, I can't talk about it at work. Well, yeah, no, you can't talk about it at work, but I'm not talking about work. I'm talking about Costco. I'm talking about the restaurant. I'm talking about small talk in the line. And we're all sitting there like, what does our faith really mean if we can't preach it to other people? Like your love of your faith and your religion should be so beautiful, so wonderful that you couldn't wait to burst forth and tell other people what a gift it is. I actually remember doing that when I first got saved. I took a table out in front of a Walmart and I set it up, like true story. And I said free prayers and free hugs. And people came up to me and I prayed for them. And because I was on fire. Like I was so lit up that there was a God and he forgave all my sins. And he answered my prayers, like the thought of a universal, this king of the universe, this omnipresent, powerful God looking down on my small life and being able to make differences for me meant everything to me. It was amazing. And I wanted other people to know. So I went and set up a table in front of Walmart and I prayed for people. And, the funny thing is, I didn't get a lot of people to come over to me. Why? Because they thought I was crazy? But my town is filled with mega churches, mega big. But people, I think maybe 7, 8, 10 or people came a day, and I was out there every weekend. So what I'm saying is, where is the love that we profess to get with a relationship with our God? And why aren't we, first of all, displaying that in our everyday lives and sharing it with other people? Like, what happened? I'm not saying that you're wrong and that you shouldn't continue to go to church and all of that stuff. But what I'm saying is, why aren't we telling other people about it? I have a theory, but I'd like to know what you think. Like, I'd like some comments, seriously, about why you think we're not doing it. Because for me, I feel like we are all so struggling so much to keep our own salvation intact, to keep our behavior modification intact, that we don't have time to tell other people about it. And then we're thinking, oh, if I tell somebody, then I've got to model the lifestyle to them. And we're probably not modeling the lifestyle at home. I mean, listen, I've been in the churches for 16 years or more because I grew up in the churches. And I know what happens when people go home from church, okay? I know that my grandmother cussed me and the kids in the back seat out all the way up until the church door, told us if we, come on now, the language. And until she got in front of the pastor. Then it was, oh, praise the Lord, Pastor. Hey, man, all my little babies. And I'm looking at them like, what? I know what happens at home. And here we are in the church acting like it's all good. And what I said to my friend yesterday was that, I've been part of ministries. And so the prerequisite for ministry is a modeled lifestyle, right? So like if you're openly gay, you can't be in the ministry because you're supposed to be modeling Christianity, right? So then I said to her, but being openly gay is a sin just like sleeping with your boyfriend or your girlfriend when you go home if you're not married. And how many people in the church are doing that? And I took it a step further. I said, but if not having sin in your life is the prerequisite for ministry, then nobody is qualified because we all sin and fall short. Maybe my sin is not as public, it's not as predominant, it's not as open, it's not, you know what I'm trying to say? Like you can't see it like if I was gay, but I still have it, even the pastors. And I mean, I'm not going to go off on the church, but come on. How many times are we going to see dirty things open up about churches and pastors and things like that? Why? Because we're all running around practicing and portraying this behavior modified life. We are all trying our best to get it right, yes, but we're pretending like we have it all together all the time. And then people are looking at us like, oh, well, I can't do that. I can't get it all together like that. Oh, no. Sister so-and-so don't cuss. She don't drink. Oh, no, I'm not ready for all that. But the truth is nobody's really doing all that. And that's why the church, number one, is so easy to go in there and pretend like. And you're really filled full with people who have no idea what the love of God really means. And number two, people are like, I'm never going to give up X, Y, or Z. So therefore, I will never belong. And that's all wrong. It's all wrong. First of all, God is not expecting behavior modification. The bottom line is you are supposed to work with God just like all of us did. And he is supposed to clean all of that stuff out of you in his own timing. Yeah, for somebody, okay, as soon as they say, I don't want to drink anymore, bam, they don't drink. They never have another drink. We hear those stories all the time. For some people, it takes a little bit longer. But then a day comes when God says, okay, I'm ready for you to put the drink down. But he's already filled you up to a place where you feel like, okay, I can let this go because I have this, or I don't need it, or I've worked on that issue that kept me going to get the bottle of wine. You see? And then you're ready to let it go. It's not a rip and tear and stop it type of regimen that God has us on. It's look, if we know compassion, and we know how to compassionately move somebody from one thing to another, then how much more so does the creator of the universe know how to move you from one thing to the other, right? He's not just going to rip you apart and leave you in ribbons and then say, there you go, fix yourself and let's get it on. No, it's a very gentle process. It's a very gentle process, but most people are afraid to start it because we have them feeling like they're not good enough from the jump. And there's no such thing as being good enough. It makes me very emotional because I know there are people out there who have literally killed themselves because they felt like they weren't good enough. And it's not right. So we need to take our claws off of the word God, give it back to the people, and allow them to experience what it is to be in love with God and to have God do work in your life and to attach to all the powers and the miracles that come along with a relationship with a real God. I have more on this subject. I'm going to stop this video. I'm going to go into another subject that is very passionate to me, and I'm going to make a whole series of these. So like, subscribe, follow me, and you will hear what else I have to say on this topic. Thank you.